Good morning. Good morning, guys. This is going to be hopefully a very short video, and I'm hoping that it really is just a very brief review for you as we begin to move into finishing Unit 1, Neolithic Revolution, and we go to the Far East, to China and India, to look at some of the early civilizations there, some of the early historical ideas. I wanted to give us a review of timeline, and please forgive me if we really know all of what I'm about to say to you right now. We know that today's date is August 31st, 2020. It means we're 2020 years into a period that we want that for the purposes of our history, I'm going to call the Common Era. Okay. See that where that CE is? Actually, right now, today's date, 2020, will be out where that asterisk is there. Okay. So we're 2020 years into a period we're going to call the Common Era. And so if we want to go back we go back 1,000 years at a time, this would be 2020. This would be 1,000 of the Common Era. This would be 0 year of the Common Era. 2,000 years ago, we in history usually equate that with the era of the birth of Christ, the life of Christ, around the 0 of the Common Era. So if I'm moving back, not by thousands here in BCE, but by 500, by increments of 500 before the Common Era, 1,000 years before the Common Era, 1,500 years before the Common Era, and of course, history goes back 10,000, 100,000, 500,000, millions of years before the Common Era. There's an unimaginably long period of human development before the Common Era begins. We're 2020 years into the Common Era. So I might say from this timeline that the Roman Empire had its heyday in the Common Era, the first 500 years of the Common Era. Greece had its heyday in the 500 years before the Common Era. And we are studying Confucius in our lesson on the Far East. Confucius dates back to about 500 years before the Common Era. We're going to study a lot of older religious ideas also. The Buddha is going to take us back to around 600 of the before the Common Era. And then when we study later on in these religions of the East, we'll study Hinduism. Hinduism has its tracings way back beyond really 2,000 years with the Upanishads and other early Hindu writings. We'll be going way back, and there are other books that we'll be talking about, other cultural ideas we're talking about. But so we want to say that Confucius existed about 2,500 years ago. Christianity came into birth around 2,000 years ago. To give you a little bit of perspective, Muhammad and Islam would start around 500 in the Common Era. So it's a relatively younger religion. Judaism, Hinduism all start that early. That's might have been a bit of a mess, but I hope you kind of follow where we're talking about right now as we position ourselves to look back at China and India, some of the dynasties that we have. I thought that might be a helpful way to look at a timeline for you. We'll talk to you in a little bit, okay? Thanks.